Imagine a dark, foggy night in the small town of Ravenswood. The air is thick with tension, and an eerie silence blankets the streets. Suddenly, a chilling figure emerges from the shadows, leaving behind a trail of terror and cryptic messages that would baffle investigators for decades. This is the story of the haunting of Blackwood Manor, a place shrouded in mystery and whispered legends. The old Blackwood Manor stood at the edge of the dense forest, its dark windows staring like empty eyes into the soul of anyone who dared to approach. For decades, it had been abandoned, and the townsfolk spoke of strange lights and eerie sounds emanating from the manor. No one had ventured inside for years until now. Sarah, a determined journalist with a knack for uncovering the truth, had always been fascinated by the stories surrounding Blackwood Manor. She decided to spend a night in the manor to uncover the secrets that lay within its decaying walls. Armed with her camera, flashlight, and a sense of adventure, she stepped into the manor as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the overgrown garden. The air inside was thick with the scent of mold and decay. Every step Sarah took echoed through the empty halls, and the floorboards creaked under her weight. She set up her equipment in the grand foyer, where a massive chandelier hung precariously from the ceiling. As she began her investigation, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Hours passed, and Sarah's flashlight flickered, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Suddenly, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing her light. Panic surged through her veins as she fumbled to turn it back on. When the light finally returned, she saw a figure standing at the top of the grand staircase. A woman in a tattered white dress, her eyes hollow and lifeless. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she tried to speak, but no words came out. The figure slowly descended the stairs, her movements unnatural and jerky. Sarah backed away, her mind racing with fear and confusion. She stumbled into a side room, slamming the door shut behind her. The room was filled with old, dusty furniture covered in white sheets. She could hear the faint sound of a music box playing a haunting melody. As Sarah caught her breath, she noticed a diary lying on a small table. She opened it, revealing the tragic story of the Blackwood family. The manor had once been a place of joy and laughter, but a series of mysterious deaths had plagued the family. The last entry was written by a young woman named Emily, who spoke of a dark presence that had taken over the manor and driven her family to madness. Suddenly, the door creaked open, and the figure from the staircase entered the room. Sarah realized that this was Emily, trapped in the manor for eternity. Emily's ghostly form reached out to Sarah, her eyes filled with sorrow and desperation. Sarah felt a strange connection to Emily, as if their fates were intertwined. Determined to help Emily find peace, Sarah followed her through the manor, uncovering hidden rooms and long-forgotten secrets. They discovered a hidden chamber beneath the manor, where a dark ritual had been performed by a cult that once worshipped an ancient, malevolent entity. The ritual had gone horribly wrong, binding the entity to the manor and cursing the Blackwood family. As Sarah and Emily ventured deeper into the chamber, they encountered the entity, a shadowy, monstrous figure with glowing red eyes. The air grew colder, and the walls seemed to close in around them. Sarah knew that they had to destroy the entity to free Emily and lift the curse. With Emily's guidance, Sarah found an ancient book containing the ritual to banish the entity. As she recited the incantation, the entity roared in anger, its form writhing and contorting. The ground shook, and the chamber began to collapse. In a final, desperate effort, Sarah completed the ritual, and the entity was consumed by a blinding light. The manor fell silent, and Emily's ghostly form began to fade. She smiled at Sarah, her eyes now filled with gratitude and peace. "Thank you," Emily whispered before disappearing into the light. Sarah emerged from the ruins of Blackwood Manor, her heart heavy with the weight of the night's events. She had uncovered the truth and freed a tormented soul, but the experience had changed her forever. The story of Blackwood Manor would live on, a testament to the power of courage and compassion in the face of unimaginable horror. Years passed, and Sarah's life had returned to a semblance of normalcy. She had moved on from her harrowing experience at Blackwood Manor, but the memories still haunted her dreams. One day, she received a mysterious letter in the mail. The envelope was old and worn, and the handwriting was eerily familiar. It was from Emily. The letter spoke of a new threat that had emerged in Ravenswood. The malevolent entity had returned, and it was more powerful than ever. Emily's spirit had been awakened once again, and she needed Sarah's help to banish the entity for good. Sarah knew she couldn't ignore the plea for help, so she packed her bags and returned to Ravenswood. Upon arriving in the town, Sarah noticed that the once thriving community had fallen into disarray. The streets were empty, and the townsfolk seemed to be living in fear. She made her way to Blackwood Manor, which now stood in even greater ruin. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding as she stepped inside. Sarah was greeted by Emily's ghostly form, who explained that the entity had grown stronger and was now able to possess the living. The townsfolk had been falling victim to its influence, and the entire town was at risk. Emily revealed that there was a hidden artifact within the manor that could help them defeat the entity once and for all. Together, Sarah and Emily began their search for the artifact. They ventured into the darkest corners of the manor, uncovering hidden passageways and long-forgotten secrets. Along the way, they encountered the possessed townsfolk, who attacked them with a ferocity that was both terrifying and heartbreaking. Sarah fought to protect herself and Emily, using her wits and determination to survive. As they delved deeper into the manor, they discovered a hidden library filled with ancient texts and artifacts. Among the dusty tomes, they found a journal written by the cult leader who had originally summoned the entity. The journal detailed the ritual that had gone wrong and provided clues to the location of the artifact they needed. Following the clues, Sarah and Emily made their way to a hidden chamber beneath the manor. The chamber was filled with eerie symbols and the remnants of the failed ritual. In the center of the room, they found the artifact, a mysterious amulet that pulsed with a dark energy. Emily explained that the amulet could be used to trap the entity, but it required a great sacrifice. As they prepared to use the amulet, the entity appeared, more powerful and terrifying than ever. The air grew cold, and the walls seemed to close in around them. Sarah knew that they had to act quickly to prevent the entity from escaping and wreaking havoc on the town. With Emily's guidance, Sarah began the ritual to activate the amulet. The entity roared in anger, its form writhing and contorting as it tried to break free. The ground shook, and the chamber began to collapse. In a final, desperate effort, Sarah completed the ritual, and the entity was drawn into the amulet, trapped within its dark confines. The manor fell silent once again, and Emily's ghostly form began to fade. She smiled at Sarah, her eyes now filled with gratitude and peace. "Thank you," Emily whispered before disappearing into the light. Sarah emerged from the ruins of Blackwood Manor, her heart heavy with the weight of the night's events. She had once again uncovered the truth and freed a tormented soul, but the experience had changed her forever. The story of Blackwood Manor would live on, a testament to the power of courage and compassion in the face of unimaginable horror. Years passed, and Sarah had moved on from her harrowing experiences at Blackwood Manor. She had built a new life for herself, but the memories of the past still haunted her dreams. One day, she received a mysterious package in the mail. The package contained the amulet she had used to trap the entity, along with a note that simply read, "It's not over." Sarah knew that the entity had somehow escaped and was once again wreaking havoc. She packed her bags and returned to Ravenswood, determined to put an end to the terror once and for all. Upon arriving in the town, she found it in even greater disarray than before. The streets were empty, and the townsfolk seemed to be living in constant fear. Sarah made her way to Blackwood Manor, which now stood in even greater ruin. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding as she stepped inside. She was greeted by Emily's ghostly form, who explained that the entity had grown even more powerful and was now able to possess multiple people at once. The entire town was at risk, and they needed to act quickly to stop the entity. Together, Sarah and Emily began their search for a way to defeat the entity once and for all. They ventured into the darkest corners of the manor, uncovering hidden passageways and long-forgotten secrets. Along the way, they encountered the possessed townsfolk, who attacked them with a ferocity that was both terrifying and heartbreaking. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey into the haunting of Blackwood Manor. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more spine-chilling tales and mysteries. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts and theories about Blackwood Manor in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going and continue to explore the mysteries of the past together. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.